Today, I'm going to unbox and take a quick look at This War Without an Enemy, dealing with the English Civil War, 1642 to 1646, designed by Scott H. Moore and published by Nuts Publishing. This is about the English Civil War. I have a few games that deal with the English Civil War, most notably Unhappy King Charles, from Charles Vassy and published by GMT Games. And this is a CDG, or card-driven game, point-to-point map with use of cards to move the action forward. This, on the other hand, is a block war game. So it's going to be your typical block format with the steps on the, and reducing steps of the units on the sides of the block, so you kind of flip the block over. But this uses cards as well. But again, I believe this is predominantly a block war game. We look at the back here. You get an example of the map. You see some of the blocks there, and here are the blocks here as well. And then here are some of the cards, as we can see. It's for 2 players, 14 plus, 60 to 240 minutes. So take a look here, the description here a little bit. It says, This War Without an Enemy is a 2-player strategic block war game in which one player controls the Royalists and the other the Parliamentarians. The aim of the game is to acquire victory points through the capture of cities held by the opponent, and for the Parliamentarian player to capture the king. At the beginning of each turn, both players choose a card which enables them to move and reinforce their troops, and usually also enacts an event. The battle and the storming of cities are resolved following a siege's attrition. Each player has their own deck of cards, which adjusted from year to year to reflect the historical progression of the war. The regional nature of the conflict is created using leader and regional blocks, as well as rules for regional recruitment. The resolution of the field battles includes special rules for artillery, cavalry, infantry, while an innovative system has been designed for storming and sieges. There are 5 scenarios for this game, varying from short 6-turn introduction through the full war up to 27 turns. So this is, I imagine with these cards is going to be somewhat similar to Columbia card games, or Columbia block games that use cards for activations. It sounds like this probably uses a similar mechanic to that. Let's get inside the box and see what we have here. So we're going to get a map, and we're going to get blocks, and then we're going to get stickers. That is what I am predicting. Let's see how correct I am. So this is from Nuts Publishing. They're a European publisher. Decent box there. Here is the playbook and the rule book, and then you've got your blocks and your cards and my daily dose of silica. Don't ingest that, people. You've got some dice here. I think these are wooden dice. They're really nice. They're rounded, but nice colors there. Wooden dice. You've got blue blocks, and you've got orange blocks here. Nice bag of blocks, and some maybe these are more administrative type blocks. Green and red, and you have some black disc there, and then a black block as well. Say that fast 3 times. Here's the cards. We'll take a look at those. Here are the stickers. Not too bad. 1 sticker sheet. I can handle that. I'm not a real big fan of stickers, but 1 sheet is doable. We have player aids here. Here's a game turn. Players are kind of thin. It's not your typical thicker paper, but this is, I think, might be the European printing. I don't know, but it's thicker than paper, but not thicker than the poster board that you usually get with the typical player aid. You've got your game turn here, sequence of play, timeline, some different phases here, and then sequence of battle, storming, bombardment, sallying, supply, year-end. So there's, siege is going to be a big part of this this game here, because you're trying to capture cities and you're going to be putting them under siege. So you got 2 of those player aids there. Then we've got looks like it might be a setup map here, and it's dual-sided. So this is 1644, and this is September 1642. So you've got some setups depending upon different years. They might be tied to the scenarios. We might look into the playbook to see what that is. Then it looks like you maybe have a battle board here. So this is the defender, this is the attacker. So if you're on the attack, and this tells you where to put your infantry, cavalry, firing infantry, artillery, pursuing, reserves. So you got 3 different types of cavalry: routing, regular, and pursuing. Then you've got on the defender side artillery, firing, reserves, regular, and routing, and then engaging infantry. So, and this is kind of thin too. It might be nice to have this a little bit thicker. This is on the same stock as the player aids for this game. Then you have a mounted map here. Yeah, we'll take a look at that here in a second. Let's get to take a look at the rule books. Golly, I'm all over the place now, knocking stuff over here. Here's the rule book. It is, looks like it is 23 pages, but some of this is history and notes here. Some of these are scenarios, possibly. Yeah, here's your scenarios. So it looks like the rules are about 19 pages. It's dual column. You've got some color examples in there. Real nice example there. Explaining about the blocks and the board, and now the cards. And then you get into some of your phases. Here's recruitment. Here's the tactical phase. Here's sieges. Quite a bit on sieges. You have a different separate chart here, it looks like. Supply phase, victory phase, and year-end phase. So kind of a cleanup phase, possibly. Then you get into the scenario. So that's the rules. Then you got the playbook. The playbook is 24 pages. Again, dual column. And it's going to give you an extended example of play. That's always nice. So you've got, the playbook is basically up to like 8.5 pages of an example of play. Then you've got some historical background here on page 9. So the rest of this looks like it might be history. And I always like that. It gives you context, gives you some background of the leaders that are involved in this conflict. And then maybe an explanation of some of the card events, because the cards are going to have both, I guess, that activation, but also events as well. So let's get to the map here. I might have to go up Periscope on this. Nice mounted map here. Ooh. And it's a 2-legger or pair of pants. So it splits out there in the middle. I'm not going to be able to do it long ways. So let's go the side here and see what we have for the map from the side. Got to go all the way up for this. Very nice mounted map. I like the colors, and I like the terrain on it. I don't know if the terrain comes into effect, but it's nice looking. And there's some borders for some regions, it looks like. You have a track up here, a year track, and possibly, I guess, a turn track maybe up here. You've got some tracks down here that have different colors or designations. Don't know, sir, what that is. The cities are going to be very important. Those are the things that you're trying to capture, and so they're and besiege or siege, as you may have it. There's some other symbols on here, but the art's nice looking. Let's go in for a deeper dive here and see what we have from an art perspective here. So we look there. So there is London. Let's do it this way. See what the art looks like. I like the looks of this map. The unhappy King Charles is it's a point-to-point. So it's the graphics, it's functional but not necessarily aesthetically pleasing. This is a very nice looking map here. So we got London. It's got all kinds of symbols and some numbers here. Oxford, Bristol. Very nice. I like the look of that. You have the Wales marches up here. Very nice. So there you have it. This is what you get in a box of This war without an enemy looks laid out very nicely. I like the look of the components. Oh, we haven't got to the we haven't done the cards. Let's get to the cards before we sign off here, because the cards are going to be important as well. Love to know your thoughts on this one. This has been out for a little bit. We'll let you know what you think about it. I like block games, so I like variety. So I like the fact that there's a CDG on this and there's a block game on this war. So I can kind of compare and contrast and have different feel for it. So these are all for the king. So that's the back of the thing. There's some different symbols on here. Oh, so this is for the king cards. These are for the parliament. So maybe you have separate decks here. So there's for the king, there's for parliament. Then these numbers are probably for the activations there. Then you have some events on here. The art is I think, period type art. So evocative of the time. You got some events here. Crew's plot is foiled. It's got some events here, and it has some years on here. Maybe that's when this card comes into play. A lot of text on some of these, and the text is really small there. So that, don't know if that's going to drive you off or not. Here's the new model army siege train. There's Cromwell's new model army. And then some of these just have numbers on it. It's interesting. Some repeats in here. There's clubmen. Fortifications of Chester. So there you have it. So there's the cards. A little understated. I mean, they're not very vibrant, but maybe they're trying to, again, evoke the period that they're trying to represent there. Let's show something that's a little bit better to look at there. More blocks. Let's put those over here. Dice. Battle board here. Again, wish that was a little bit thicker. The other player aids being on thinner stock is okay. You had a lot of setup. You know, that's generally fine. These are fine here. And then you have your stickers. Let's take a look at what's going to be going on the blocks. And I imagine these are just one-sided, because with block games, typically you have a fog of war, so you only know, that there's a force there, but you don't know what's on the other side, and you don't know where it's at as far as its step, because you see these numbers. So this is 4, 3, 2, and 1, so you just rotate that as it goes on there. So there you have it. This is what you get in a box of This War Without an Enemy. Love to know your thoughts on this. I like the mounted board. I like the look of the stickers and the blocks. The blocks look great. Everything looks pretty good on this. So love to know what you think about this game. If you played it, if you like it, don't like it, what you think about block games in general. I like the variety. I like the different perspective that block games bring to certain conflicts, and so that's the reason I picked this up. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. I'm continuing on through my history this week. I started off in the ancient times, went into the 1500s. Now I'm in the 1600s. Where will I go next? Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.